joining me again here on my channel. Let me start this video off by saying this is probably the hardest video I've ever filmed because I am like the least decisive person you'll ever meet. I'm a Libran, which is probably no excuse, but I cannot make decisions. So choosing my favourite palette was hell for me. Wow, first world problems, Nakia, first world problems. So anyway, today's video is the perfect palette tag. So basically there's 10 categories to the tag. I will list them all below so that you can read up on them or whatever. But it's 10 categories of my, I guess, most favourite best palettes that I own. So I'm going to run through the categories, then I'm going to show the palettes and my choices and let you guys know why I liked them. So if you guys want to see my perfect palette tag, then just keep on watching. So the first one is best packaging, and now this one was easy for me, which is surprising, but it had to be the Urban Decay Vice 2. It's got oh god, mine's dirty. You guys probably think I'm such a feral, all my stuff's always dirty. But it's got the most beautiful marbled purple detail in its plastic. The back's the same, but then what I love most is the Urban Decay symbol is in this beautiful, it's like raised out, but it's this beautiful crystal. It's so beautiful, it's so cool. And the other cool thing about this packaging is you press the button at the front and it opens really slowly. I'll show you because I think this is so cool. Ready? Ah, it opens by itself. That's the coolest thing. That's what the inside of the palette looks like. Oh look, you can see my mess in the mirror there. That's funny. But that's what the inside of the palette looks like. It's just, I don't know, this ticks all of my categories for packaging because it's beautiful, it's versatile, because it still protects my shadows in there because it's quite durable and heavy duty, but then it's also quite compact, so I can still take it traveling and it's not going to take up my entire bag. The second category is best color payoff. Now this was a really tricky one because there's probably like 5 of these that are my favorite, but I narrowed it down to the Stila in the Light palette. Now this is only sort of a recent purchase of mine. I have this for a couple of weeks, but I was, to put it lightly, so shocked about the color payoff of some of these shadows. I'll swatch them quickly on my fingers here so you can see. They're just, and they're so buttery and creamy and just incredible shadows. There is 4 of them there for you. And I've barely touched them to get that much pigmentation on my hands. They're so creamy and soft without any fallout. And look at Kitten. Oh, Kitten has got to be the most beautiful colour. Love it! So, yeah, I mean, there's so many other palettes that I could have chosen for this one because a lot of them have great colour payoff. But I could not go past this one purely because of the texture of the pigments and how well they really pop on your eyes. So, yeah, for best colour payoff, I choose Stila in the Light. Category 3 is most versatile palette, and for that I had to go with my Lorac Pro. So this one is pretty much the ultimate palette to create any kind of look that you want. You could go with like a really light flirty look with some of these lighter shades, and you could also go with a really nice deep dark smoky eye. The other great thing about this one is that it's got a row of matte shadows across the top here and then a row of shimmers across the bottom. There's not too many palettes when you find you've got so many mattes, like that's a really, really rare thing. And the other really, really rare thing about this is that there's a matte white and a matte black. How many palettes can you think of that have those? And you really need those. It's also got like a really nice warm brown for blending out any eyeshadow look. It's got a beautiful champagne for underneath the brow bone. It's got this gorgeous copper colour for through the lower lash line for a bit of a pop of colour. You could honestly do anything with this palette. So I have to say this would be my most versatile, and it's so teeny tiny and skinny. Oh god, if I could shut it. It's so teeny tiny and skinny. Look at that. I could probably fit it in my bra. Look at, I can fit it in my bra. That's how versatile it is. The next category is best for traveling. And whilst the packaging kind of peeves me off a little bit, I couldn't go past my Smashbox, the Masterclass 2 palette. Now, I've specifically chosen this one because for such a nice compact little palette, like look how little it is, look how much you get inside. So here we've got, oh Jesus, Nikia, I'm out of control today. So here we've got a variety of cheek products. So there's 5 blushes here. And there's really one for any weather, any season, any skin tone. There's some nice corals, pinks, browns, everything. There's also a matte bronzer for contouring, bronzing, things like that. Then there's 2 beautiful, beautiful cheek highlights here. At the top, we've got 4 gel eyeshadows. And then on the other side is a stack of different shadows. And there's a mixture of finishes with these ones as well. There's mattes, there's shimmers, there's frosts, there's pretty much everything. And it also includes some really nice neutrals for blending out through the crease, blending out smoky eyes, or just to add a little bit of definition when you want to go for that no makeup look. So yeah, I would have to say this one was the best for traveling just because there is so much in here. Like really, I could take mascara, some foundation and some setting powder and this, and that would be all I would need. Like honestly, it's that good. There's even a colour in here that I can fill in my brows with. Hands down, this one is the best for traveling. Category 5 is biggest regret, and I hate this one because I don't like regrets. But because I didn't want to cheat on the tag, I had to go with my Joy to the Girls. Now, the sad thing is I love this palette like I do, but out of all of the palettes that I own, this one is probably my biggest regret. Purely because all of the shadows that come in here, I already pretty much own in any other palette. So really, I had no need to purchase this. I just thought it looked so cute on the shelf, so I picked it up. The mascara in here, I'm not a fan of at all. This is the Too Faced Lash Gazza Mascara. I don't like this mascara. It doesn't lengthen my lashes. It doesn't give them any volume. It pretty much does nothing for my lashes. And some of the colours in here don't have the greatest colour payoff as well. That's that pinky one. Powdered Sugar is a nice colour, but I mean, I've got that. I've got that in the Lorac Pro Palette that I've just shown you. I've got all of these in the Vice too. They're really just repeated shadows that I probably would never use. And it's quite bulky too. I mean, it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, the packaging is beautiful, but it's quite bulky for something that I don't tend to reach for because I've already got the shadows in other palettes. So yeah, this one would have to be my biggest regret. Don't worry, I still love you, just not as much. Category 6 is best colour names, and that hands down had to go to the Too Faced A Few of My Favourite Things. So I don't know if you guys have seen The Sound of Music, that movie with, I forget what her name is, but they're like, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Oh. Surely you guys have seen it. It's a classic. Everybody's seen The Sound of Music. But there's a song in there called A Few of My Favourite Things. You know, oh god, I'm going to sing again. I've got a terrible voice. How does it go? Those are a few of my favourite things. That song. And so most of the colours inside this palette are like phrases out of that song. So raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens, cream coloured ponies, crisp apple strudel. Like if you're familiar with the song, you're going to be familiar with the names in this palette. And I just think it's really, really cute that they used all of the names out of that song because it's such a cute movie. I just want to add in, I freaking love this palette for the colours as well and the payoff. Oh, it's amazing. It's a really, really nice palette, but I think it's cheating. But I would have included it in other categories as well. Oh, and that chocolate Soleil bronzer. Oh, I want to eat it. It's so yum. Category 7 is least used palette. And unfortunately, that has to go to my Sigma Resort palette. I mean, it's beautiful and I love everything about it, but I just don't tend to reach for it too often. And I think that's because it's mostly quite bright shades. I don't tend to lean towards a really out there sort of bright eyeshadow look, so I don't really tend to use the shadows in here that much. Even these neutral colours, I mean, I've got them in other palettes, so if I'm going to be working out of a palette, I don't really reach for this one to use the colours out of this as well. But yeah, I just don't really find myself reaching for it. Maybe if I was going for a spring makeup look or something like that, maybe I would, but I don't. That doesn't mean that I don't love this one too. God, this tag is hard. Category 8 is most used palette, and this definitely, you'll probably know already, but this definitely goes to my Urban Decay Original Naked palette. I do own all 3 of the Naked palettes, but I find that this one is really the one I tend to go towards the most, and that's purely because I like warm tone shadows on my eyes. So this one in comparison to the Naked 2 has much really warm tones. I'll show you them next to each other. Ooh, the brush is falling out. So, I mean, they're very similar, but as you can see, this is the Naked 2 here, and the shadows are like a much more cooler tone, and then this is the Naked one, so these are a warm tone. And this one really has a colour to complete any eyeshadow look as well. There's some gorgeous neutrals, there's mattes, there's shimmers, a really nice warm tone matte brown to blend through the crease to sort of smoke out any look. And then there's some darks, a silver, and some beautiful pops of copper as well. Like you could really do anything with this palette. And I reckon I probably use this one every day. I like to blend a little bit of Naked over the lid, a little bit of Buck through the crease, and then pop a little bit of this Virgin shadow right under my brow bone, and I'm pretty well good to go. So yeah, the Naked has to be my most used palette. Category 9 is most loved, and can I cheat and say all of them? No, I probably can't, can I? Really, because I've made some purchases lately of palettes, I'm going to go with my Smashbox Full Exposure. I'm in love with this palette at the minute. It just blows my mind every time I look at it. The colours are so beautiful, and I'm such a neutral girl when it comes to eyeshadows, so this has got everything. And what I really, really like about this one is that there is a shimmer that complements every matte. So like, I don't know, this nude brown kind of colour has a shimmer that matches it, I don't know if these are going to show up, but a shimmer that matches it perfectly. I love the colour pigmentation, I love the range of colours. There's some cool tone browns and some warm tone browns, so you can really do anything with it. It will suit any skin tone. And these shimmers have got to be the most beautiful shimmers ever. I've gotten a couple of complaints from a couple of girls who ended up picking up this palette and they weren't getting full colour payoff from the shimmers. If you're one of them, just use a little knife or something to scrape off very carefully the top layer of the shimmer, and you'll find that you'll get full colour pigmentation underneath. So yeah, just try that trick and I reckon you'll love this. I should also mention, this is an amazing brush. If there was a category for best brush that came with a palette, it would go to this one. So this is a double-sided brush. As you can see, it's got goat hairs on that shader side and then synthetic on that side. And then on this end, it's got the most perfect blending brush. It's like the MAC 217, but honestly, it's a lot softer. So yeah, love this brush. I want 10 of them. I hope they release them separately because I'm going to buy them all. It's just so good. That would be my current most loved. But if you ask me next week, it's probably going to be a different one. If I go shopping, it'll be a different one. Like, I'm not very reliable. And the last category is Desert Island. I'm assuming that means if I was stuck on a desert island, what palette would I take? Girl, if I was stuck on a desert island, I would be taking food, water, and a tent, and some batteries with a torch, probably. I probably wouldn't be thinking about makeup. But I guess I have to answer correctly, don't I, still? I'm going to go with Too Faced, a few of my favourite things. Because I could hold it open next to my, I don't know, rock that I'm sleeping on. Smell that bronzer. Oh, it smells like actual chocolate. No, I want to eat chocolate. I want chocolate cake and brownies and a Mars bar and Tim Tams. I've got to put it away. So that completes my perfect palette tag. They were my 10 categories for best palettes, worst palettes, you know, all the rest of it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments bar below what are your favourite palettes, because I'm sure you guys have got a few that you love that I definitely need to pick up. So yeah, let me know down below. I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you're doing lots of fun things and not at work, because that would suck. And yeah, I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye! On just the edge of the brush there. And I'm going to start to really just gently contour, nothing too over the top, because we want most of the focus to be on the eyes. Oh, my palette's cracked. It was a present from Brandon for Christmas, and the fact that it's broken breaks my heart. Oh, that sucks. Just working this in, and I'm going to carry a little bit of it through my temple there and onto my forehead as well. I must admit, this bronzer does blend out